Alright, I felt like this was a good key to commentate because I think I made some interesting and sometimes wrong decisions, so easier to just record over and talk about it. Playing two piece because that's all I have. I'm like 425 item level or something here. Um, yeah, normal talents, manage them, AoE, things like that. Here I probably used my Evocate a little bit too early because you can see I have like 20 seconds left by the time I start my ramp. And also, I should have ramped on the higher health targets, even though they're coming in late. Because obviously, this guy is gonna die. Pretty much. I didn't really lose much value there, but there's potential for me too. So, always want to be ramping on the highest health person. Here, I need to Ice Nova, but that doesn't matter. Here, I forgot to Rune of Power, which was pretty dumb, obviously. This was, I think, the most egregious thing I did this game, was I just forgot to fucking Rune of Power my mini. I don't know why. Also, I cursed too early. YouTube algorithm is not a fan. Anyway, so if you have Iridia's Fragments, I mean, my tank like pulls this in 3 pulls, which makes this pretty nice. You also spell steal these things. It's kind of like the Raging Tempest. Stuff near the Raging Tempest will just give you a shield, and if you kill the stuff fast enough, then, you know, you'll have it on the boss, which is nice. Here, I probably should have held my shifting power because of what's going to end up happening afterwards. That's something you can do in this arcane, and it's something you got to be pretty good at. So I realize here I'm not going to be able to mini burn, right? Because the boss is RP and such. So I just rune Radiant Spark to get them both on cooldown, since I'm essentially just going to hold this Touch the Magi. I also probably could just Touch the Magi early. Arcane, you have to do some pretty weird things if you're going to have like start desyncing your cooldowns, because you can see here I have 30 seconds until my surge comes off cooldown. So I'm just kind of chilling. Normally we pull a bit slower, and then my Iridia's Fragments would be up as well, but so I wait till my surge is closer, and then I'm gonna evocate and whatnot. Do my double lust, and we're entering our burn, yeah. Use my Presence of Mind to clip the end of my Rune of Power. Unfortunately, you know, they kind of bait this out of my range, but it's fine. I just lost like 1 global in Surge or something. Here, I definitely am delaying my Rune of Power a little bit too much. Or sorry, my shifting power a little bit too much, because you'd see like when I shifting powered, my Touch the Magi actually came fully off cooldown, which is bad because it didn't leave me any time to start my ramp. And so now, you know, my Touch the Magi is desynced to full 10 seconds for my surge, so gotta be careful of that. Because I'm still gonna want to burn this boss again. It's not like, you know, he's gonna die before my next burn. Probably, I think Erase Fragments was good use there because this guy's like 5 million HP left, so a lot of HP to burn. Yeah. Here I decided shifting power. One thing you can do is if you think it's gonna be a longer duration till the next pack, you can hold it, and if you don't shifting power and your touch of magic comes up, naturally on time, then you don't have to delay it. Because you can see now my surge is 40 seconds away. So if we were to run into a pack right now, then if I did a mini burn, my surge burn would be delayed. And so sometimes if you want to avoid that, you just don't shifting power until after your mini burn. It's kind of like with fire, you have the whole holding your SKB at 7 stacks. It's pretty similar to that. So here I could like rune a power, right? But we're going to pull more, so can you see I'm just doing literally no damage. Trying to dance my way around all those ground AoEs, but yeah, it's your standard AoE burn. There I barrage instead of the other Tempest, just because it was the last global of Surge, and I didn't want to waste the damage amp, but perhaps it was worth it to cast another Tempest. You can see I haven't had another Tempest up this whole time, which is definitely a mistake. Luckily, I don't have the class trinket or anything, so it's less of a mistake than it would be otherwise, but there's definitely enough mobs here where I'd want to have it up. Yeah, my tank kind of pulled really large here, but I don't have any cooldowns, so. I should also be ice nubbing. Not really sure why not. I think this is something that, you can't really do as a pug thing, but I told my tank to pull that, or just like pull one extra mob in. That should have been missiles, of course. So I'd have something that would, live my ramp, because most of that stuff was almost dead. Kind of an awkward target count, so I definitely shouldn't have barraged there, but that's alright. I think I thought there was more. Anyway. You have to really watch out for that circle on the ground, because it's quite hard to see, especially if you're in Rune of Power. It's just pretty much invisible. I think technically Corrupting Rage is the best file for Arcane, but it's generally the best file for anything that can use crit because of how high its uptime is. But Tepid Verse is relatively close, and I am very scared for my life. So one of the interesting things about this boss, which will almost certainly get patched in like a few days, is that your Mirror Mage can actually bait that ability, the Dragon Strike, which is just a bleed and knockback. Here I walked left for some reason, so it was too late to walk right and stay my Rune of Power. Should probably cancel this, um, but it's alright. So here again, shifting power is too late, so I'm actually going to do the 4-piece rotation, which is not really an increase, but I didn't want to delay my surge later. So I just wanted to. That just lets you touch the Magi off cooldown faster. So I don't have 4-piece though, so it's just not the move. It's right though. And I think he targets the person's farthest away. You can see he just leapt to my mirror image, and now obviously no one has the bleed, which is very, very good. I think mirror images are technically counted as pets, so it might work for like anything. See, I don't know. I just did some weird thing right there. Yeah. And then here, that was the other thing, yeah. Um, don't use your fragment at the beginning of your ramp. Obviously, you want to use it after your surge, because I accidentally also used my gem beforehand. You see, my fragment actually expired before both surge and touch the magic expired, so very much not a good thing to do on accident. Definitely want that after surge. I am looking forward to the changes that are coming in 10.1.5 for Arcane. Arcane's definitely the most well-designed mage spec at the moment, in my opinion. It just lacks, the AoE oomph that it kind of needs. Not in damage terms, obviously, for how I performed this key, just in terms of its rotation and its feel in AoE is definitely lacking outside of cooldowns. And also, I think losing Rune of Power is good for the feel of Arcane, because Rune of Power is something that makes Arcane a lot more clunky. But you can see this is very fun. Obviously, I do like doing 400k DPS. So there I was going to rune because I wasn't sure if we pulled like the other mobs, because if so I would need to skip my mini burn, but here instead I'm gonna decide to do my mini burn. So and then just because of how it ended up being, I just this guy was out of the pack, and I just felt like I wanted to save my touch magi for my surge instead. So because we're just gonna run up here pretty fast. If I'd been really quick about it, I probably could have used it, but I wasn't. So gonna be bursting this guy, highest health, mob in the pack. I will be doing a lot of damage here because this is my fragment surge burn. You see this guy's the highest health in the pack, and he's dying first. Probably in large part due to my damage. Because this Iron Torch is less HP, but by almost 1.1 million. Should prioritize getting my barrage in more. I did. Should cancel my missiles since technically that's what you're supposed to do in AoE. I'm pretty sure it's just doesn't really make sense to do that obviously with Arcane Echoes, but I think it just has to do with lineups around like Rune and fitting barrages into the end of Touch of Magi. But this is obviously a really nice juicy pull to be surging on. Just kind of lined up that way. Since, you know, we didn't really design a route beforehand, we're just kind of pulling. And however the cooldowns look, they look. I just noticed I walked out my rune power there. It's not very good. I could Presence of Mind here, but it doesn't matter because Presence of Mind doesn't actually make a Force Charge Arcane Blast cast any faster. Yeah, our tank fell down there, so caused some weird interactions. So we're just gonna wipe, and then he's gonna res the healer, so I'm just gonna skip ahead till we're res to boop boop. There we go. Now you pull the 3-pack on top. Yeah. So now I'm surge burning again, but on the 4-pack that's alive. So ideally you don't waste your orb. Here I'm just gonna click my fragments because boss is super soon, and we're gonna have double lust, so I definitely want fragments for that. I wouldn't really do this if this was like a 2-minute cooldown. I wouldn't do it, but since it's a 1-minute cooldown or a 3-minute cooldown, I mean, I definitely am angling to save it a bit more than I would normally. It's not something I do all the time though. Here I definitely sat on my shifting power for far too long. Doesn't end up mattering in AoE, but that would have mattered in single target. Also just delays my next usage a little bit, so. Luckily I think the healer needs to drink here, so we can, my cooldowns are essentially gonna come back up from him drinking. Yeah, that was a pretty bad alter. Sometimes I just forget he does it immediately. And now we skyrocket since we just fragmented and we're in our burn. Here, our healer just said don't defensive, so, you know, I obviously didn't defensive. Our Paladin spell warded me, which I didn't need because obviously I have Alter, Greater Invis, Prismatic Barrier, and Ice Block ready. So. Not really doing anything special rotation wise. Definitely did not need to barrage there. Should have burnt more mana, which is why that barrage was bad. Get Greater Invis, make sure I'm not in a swirly, and then start casting. and then palm the end of my rune. I feel like you probably don't do that in execute, but yeah. And then just to be nice to my healer, just ice block. Arcane Blast with all the buffs is, yep. I think it's just better than Barrage, but in execute it's a lot closer because of bombardment. So Barrage just thralls your mana, so it's good to press. And this tank likes to do a big pull here. I don't have Surge for 25 seconds. That's quite sad, but I do have Rune of Power. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna Rune of Power. Hopefully. And I just UVK'd my Rune of Power, which is not great, but you know. I believe this guy's just gonna die as well, but we'll see. This is part of the reason why I think, Talon's just nicer. I mean, I don't know why I said that. Like, Fragment's just better, but the awkward lineups where it's like 5 seconds away, 10, 12 seconds away from your cooldowns, I opt to just use it during. I don't think that's the play, but since we were in mass AoE and otherwise I would have had to hold it for a long time, I think it was worth it here. Yeah. And then here, I should help my shifting power. Because if I held my shifting power, I probably would have been fine to mini burn. I think I have mini burn here anyway, but we'll see. Or I might just rune plus Radiant Spark with no mini burn. Never mind, I decided to mini burn. Also should be pressing Ice Nova, so apparently I fucked up more than I thought I did this game. Here I Radiant Sparked. I definitely should not have, because our tank then immediately starts pulling the boss. Or starts pulling more mobs. So now I'm forced to like shifting power to get my Radiant Spark off cooldown, so that I can actually do my Surge Burn here with Lust. I decided to burst this Warden instead because the Blaze Wing's gonna die really fast. And also I accidentally double Arcane Blast there instead of barraging on the 4th stack of Radiant Spark. It's not that big of a deal, but it hurts a little bit for sure. Definitely should have been more wary about aggro here, but it's fine. Just gonna use my touch of magic and everything, even though the pack's almost dead, because if I don't, then I have to delay my surge. Basically. And this boss is is what it is. A lot of interesting things. I don't delay my cooldowns for it, you might like change how you're going to cast them or whatnot, but for instance, like you could use your surge a lot later on the last pull, just so that it would line up better with the magma shield, where normally you might have like delayed it or something. You can see the shield just ends super fast when Definitely should have waited to conjure that magic, by the way. And also I should have shifting power before the shield instead of now, because again, shifting power way too late, and my touch the magic is just off cooldown, so I'm going to probably do the 4-piece rotation again. Yep. But you shouldn't do that. You should just shifting power earlier. You can see the thing just immediately breaks. Still does the puddles for some reason, which they really have to fix. But I think they're fake puddles, though. I think you can stand in them. I don't know. Someone try that. I'm not trolling you. I promise. It's really annoying that these things can spawn literally all the way across the room from you, and that would just despawn because they just broke the shield themselves. So, yeah. Here, since the shield's spawning, I'm going to get my gold. Obviously, this being the melee one was not ideal, but we managed to kind of nick him with the edge of it. Since I got, no ramps during my or during the damage amp phase, I'm kind of just doing 0 damage here. Plus, I didn't have lust, but it's alright. Through my thing, block. I am going to unblock blank and be fine. And there you have it. If I'd done more damage on the last boss, which I should have, then I would have, been a lot better off. And there's the breakdown and whatnot. But yeah, and then the warlock looted weapon, which he ended up trading me, which is very nice. So now I have a 4-3-1 weapon, and we'll see what I get from my vault on Tuesday. But have a good rest of your day. Leave any questions down below.